What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily, Sunday, October 9th, 2022. And man, oh man, we got a lead here with horse racing and not even stakes races because we have a massive Pick 5 pool coming at you at Santa Anita today. The early Pick 5 carries from yesterday after some really wild results. $406,000 sitting in the early Pick 5 pool. Pool's going to get between $2.5 and $3 million. Papa Dude, how much are you going to bet on this early Pick 5?
I think you know the answer to that question. The way my bets are going, I'm so discouraged. I tell you, that's what makes you guys professionals, pros, where none of us doing any good, and you bounce right back. You're either the stupidest people I know, or you're the most resilient. I don't know which it is, but I'm just not that good. That's all.
Right now, I'd say the Giants are the most resilient people there are out there, losing by 2 scores multiple times this game, inside the 10-yard line, first and goal here, 2020 game, 4:08 left.
Wow.
If the Packers somehow blow this game, first off, Giants team total over looks a lot better, but the Packers somehow blow this game, it is a atrocious loss.
Yeah.
And they may do it.
They may just do it. All right, let's jump over to that Pick 5 here at Santa Anita. Aaron, I handicapped the whole thing. Obviously, I'm excited to pump some money into this pool. Really tough pool. Multiple races with 10-plus horses. And one thing we harped on in the live stream yesterday was specifically favorites that don't look like they should be favorites. And man, there's a couple that stand out in this sequence, aren't there?
You have a couple of maidens that are career maidens in these races where they stand out, maybe not stand out's too strong of a word, but they look good as far as a speed figure situation is concerned. But yeah, it's tough to take them as kind of short prices. And that's in the second race, you got the 8 horse. And in the third race, you've got the 8 horse. So analytics wise, they stand out. Can they actually get the job done? I kind of feel like it might be the day for the 8 and the third, but you've got some weird situations there. It's got me looking at the stakes race, the fifth leg there, the 5th race is kind of the one where I am kind of confident in the 3 horse there. Past that, it gets a little dicey.
Yeah, we were going to do a full show on this Pick 5, Carol. We just don't have time today with everything going on, so we wanted to make sure we covered the keys here. And you mentioned one of them. Well, there's I would say 3 keys to this Pick 5, right? The first one is the 8 horse in the first race or in the second race, who is Careless Kitten, who is 0 for 17 with 6 seconds, and is going to go off around 6 to 5. 0 for 17 with 6 seconds is going to go off around 6 to 5, and honestly, probably deserving to be somewhere sub 2 to 1. But man, it's hard to trust that horse. The 8 horse in the next leg, 4 left, similar situation, 2 to 1 morning line, 0 for 11, I believe it is. I don't trust the 8 in the second race at all. It's very hard to go short in either the second or third leg. Are you going to single either of these 8s, or are you going to spread around them?
Yeah, I'm spreading around them, and like I said, I'm going all the way to that 5th race for the single, kind of try to hope to get alive there because I just. This 8 in the third, it's like, yeah, this thing should win this time, but I just can't go. I just can't do it. And they're the worst kind, both these horses. Not only do they get second, they're very close seconds most times as well. So it's you got to be ballsy to do it. The fields are not great in there, but you got to think, gosh, somebody's gonna beat them again today. I don't know, Somich. How are you handling it?
I like the 8 in the third leg more than I like the 8 in the second leg.
Yeah.
But the field in that second race is atrocious.
Well,
atrocious.
It should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's bottom level maiden claimers. But the thing with Careless Kitten is that this is her 5th try at 20,000 maiden claimers. Actually, it's her 7th try. I'm sorry, 20 maiden claimers. She's got 3 seconds in a third. It seems like someone always just beats her. And then Val Brinkerhoff, who's training the horse, also has the 6 coming in off a 2-year layoff in the same race, which kind of makes you not trust that 8 even more, because why in the world would you enter that 6 off a 2-year layoff if you thought the 8 was that good? And that good is very relevant, just like the Packers, who just gave up a game-losing touchdown, apparently.
Yeah, doesn't look good for the Packers right now. Listen, this is the deal. This is the hope. If you like the 8 in a second, this is the shortest price he's ever going to be today, right? He has been getting seconds, but he's been 9 to 5, 11 to 1, 5 to 2, where today, like I said, you're going to get about even money, I would say, on this horse. So that's the good news. And that kind of expresses what you're saying. This field is beyond bad. It is not a good field.
And you should get the pace set up, right? The 8 is the last thing you want is a maiden who is 0 for 16 who doesn't have much speed. And that's what you have with this 8 horse. But the pace setup between the 9 horse will go and quits very badly. The 6 horse should go and quits very badly. Should at least give the 8 a chance to run into it here. So it's one of those situations where it's hard to trust the horse, but the setup and the numbers point to this horse finally breaking through today.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. That's why at the first of the show, the analytics tell you both of these horses should win. And that's where kind of the problem is and the conundrum is in this. And it's very interesting. You have these 2 horses back to back in a sequence this important. I don't think Santa Anita really wanted that scenario, so to speak, but it's kind of a cool little situation that you have on your hands here. Will one of them win? I mean, that's the question, right? And like you said, if one of them wins, you got to be right on the one that does.
It brings us back to a conversation we had in the live show on Friday where, Keeneland was nuts early, but we talked about how those were high variance races because of the quality, the class level, the consistency, and how much you can trust some of these horses. Guess what? These are high variance races. The first 4 of them all could go in a lot of different directions. You mentioned the 5th. Let's talk about that a little bit. You mentioned specifically the 3 horse Comanche Country. I think this is the most trustworthy single in the sequence. I'm not going to say the best single, but the most trustworthy single in the sequence. Was impressive last time out. And it's a okay field. There's no world beaters coming in here that are big time question marks that could really push Comanche Country.
When I look at a sequence, pick 5 for sure, I look at, okay, who is the most reliable horse within the 5 races, right? And this has to be the answer. It's kind of forcing your hand a bit, right? Because if there was other decent races in here, maybe there's an allowance horse you really like one. Maybe Bob Baffert's got a maiden special weight runner you really like. It's different. It changes, right? Then you might say, okay, that's the most reliable horse. You have to pick a horse out of this race, in my opinion, a single. Even if you don't like the 3, these horses are a little bit more reliable than the rest. It's still a 2-year-old maiden on the or a 2-year-old stakes on the turf. That's not easy, but this horse, the 3 Comanche Country, has won 2 in a row since coming over to the United States. Great maiden win at Del Mar on the first race in the United States, obviously. And then a nice stakes win last time out. Beat most of these same horses. And the thing is, the horses that she beat last time out are kind of your second and third choices in this spot here. That's a really good sign to me.
Yeah, the one horse I was worried about, the 8 Excelia, ran 3rd last time to Comanche Country. Has some pace, should be the speed of the race. And it's a D'Amato Vasquez horse. And D'Amato is training the 3 as well. Does very well at these turf stakes over at Santa Anita. That was the one I was really concerned about. I didn't think you need to go very deep there. So I agree with you. This is the leg to go short in, especially with the variance I think you can see earlier in the sequence.
Yeah, and that's just it. It forces your hand a bit. You got to have an opinion. And I would rather take an opinion on a race that has some decent runners in it and is take a shot there, because you're going maiden claiming, maiden, and lower level, like bottom level at Santa Anita claiming.
But
that's a recipe for disaster.
It's tough. It's going to be a tough sequence with a lot of horses. No matter who you like, you should definitely play the sequence. $406,000 sitting there. You're going to see well over $2.5 million into this pool. So it's going to be the biggest pool. 15% takeout also in the early pick 5 at Santa Anita. So a great low takeout, great big pool, awesome betting opportunity. So make sure you're playing that early pick 5 over at Santa Anita. Let's jump over to Keeneland real quick, Aaron, here. We've got 2 stakes races. First off, the Grade 2 Bourbon, the 8th race on the card. Mile and a 16th going over the turf course here. Reckoning Force coming in here at 7-2, your favorite, off a win in a $500,000 juvenile stakes over at Kentucky Downs. Faced a couple others in here from that race. This one seems pretty wide open, much like we've seen all week from the stakes over at Keeneland.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. I picked this and handicapped this for the video we did without the odds, and I didn't really think the 3 would be the favorite, and so that's why I ended up putting on top in this race. I don't love the horse at 7-2, but I'm so skeptical this horse might end up being the favorite when all is said and done. I think this is one that's got a big shot. We've had a lot of favorites that we've played against at Keeneland that have worked out. This one, I think, fits. I think it's got a shot to get the job done. You said it. Kind of woke up in a big way. Won last time out. Now going back from Kentucky Downs to Keeneland, though, that's the question. Weird things happen at Kentucky Downs. So gonna see how that works out. I kind of like the number 12 and the winner is as well. If you watch the race last time out, the horse just didn't fire with his best shot, and I think could kind of rebound here and run a little bit better. I love the price in this on this horse at 10-1. I think if we get that, it's worth kind of saying, okay, we didn't run very well. We were bet down pretty heavy in that race last time out, the with anticipation at Saratoga. So let's see if he can kind of rebound off that performance.
Yeah, that race is interesting. Boppio wins that race. Big price in that spot. Kind of a surprising upset. Our Dream Ride, the 11, and the winner is the 12. Both come out of that race and were respectively 2.25 to 1 and 3.75 to 1. You're getting 10 to 1 on the favorite from that race, the 12 and the winner is, and 20 to 1 on the 11, Our Dream Ride, in a race where neither of them got a very good trip at all, and a horse that was surprising won the race. So I think both the 11 and the 12 are interesting at prices. I actually had the 10 on top here. I had really good on top.
Yep.
I like the fact that first race was a mile 16, 2 turns. Look, you mentioned it. Kentucky Downs is screwy. I'm willing to give it a pass on the Kentucky Downs race and to go back to that form from the first race and think that really good can turn the tide.
Yep, I like the 10 as well. I think the 10's a really nice horse, nice debut winner there at Saratoga. So I'm with you.
All right, real quick before we let's scroll one forward here. We've got the 9th race, the Grade 1 Spinster, Papa Dude. You look at the Grade 1, so I have faith that you looked at this one here. Latruska back at it. Should have a lone lead today. I'm a broken record. Can she go gate to wire, or is Malathat's newfound blinker habit going to get the job done?
I'm really worried about Latruska. I think the age is starting to creep up with one of my favorite horses of all time. Love this horse. She just hasn't had it this year, and they get to a certain age, especially females, and they kind of lose interest. And we just see it time and time again. I hope she wins. I love the horse. Love to see her win again, but I can't go with her.
Aaron, what do you think? Do you think, well, first off, do you think Latruska's loose, or do you think Play Hard can push? And do you think it is the blinkers that makes Malathat be a deserving 3 to 5 shot? Because Malathat in her life has never been a deserving 3 to 5 shot before. Is she today?
Well, I think Latruska's done. I didn't really hold the Phipps against her too much 2 races back, but I know you're going to have the same opinion because you thought Latruska could win the personal ensign because of the same exact reason. You thought she was loose, and she was. She got a great trip. And Jared Better too that day. He was standing right next to me, and he turned for home and was like, she should win. Like she got the trip, and like it wasn't good. She stopped. I'm like Papa Dude. I hope she does well, but for my bets, I can't go with her. I think Malathat, but man, I'm on the wrong side of this horse a lot. But she seems to be the horse to beat in this spot. She's in good form. We know that. Like I said, the blinkers may have made a big difference for her. She kind of, bared down a little bit better in the personal ensign and got up there and won it. I'm not in love with her, though. I'll tell you that much.
She'll hit the exacta. She does
Yes.
that very often. It's really the question of whether or not she's going to be able to finish the job. I mentioned the blinkers because 2 back she added them for the first time in the Shuvi. She had them on in the personal ensign. You saw a big time improvement, or the light turn on really in that personal ensign. Really impressive run there to be able to get the job done over search results. So I thought ran really well. Gets a second highest career buyer. This is just going to be a really interesting race to me because I agree with you guys. I'm really hesitant to play Latruska, but I'm probably playing Latruska. I think you're going to get 3.5 to 1 on her. And at Keeneland, I don't trust Malathat at 3 to 5. That is the bottom line. I cannot trust that horse at 3 to 5. In my mind, it's really a 2-horse race here. I don't think Play Hard is good enough. If you like Malathat, I kind of like the Malathat Latruska straight exacta. I'm not going to leave Malathat out of pick 5s, or Latruska out of pick 5s. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think if you're a pace handicapper, and you are big time, I don't know how you can't play her, right? And if she is 80%, 90% of her old self, I think she's going to win. I'm really skeptical she is. So hopefully she does. Though I'm with Papa Dude. She's one of my favorites. So
yeah, she's a fun horse. It's fun when these loose on the lead horses and the way closers both can be fun in their own rights. And Latruska was phenomenal for a while there. Whenever she was able to get forwardly placed and get the job done. All right, let's jump into the best bets, guys. It's been a brutal 2 days. By far our worst week we've had in a long time. So we got to get back on track a little bit here heading into the weekend. So let's jump into the best bets. Aaron, you're going to go with a horse race. So Papa Dude, I'll let you kick it off here. Taking a really trustworthy team in the NFL.
Yeah, right. Well, I was going to suggest we do our stupidest bets of the week. And I would have already missed one, I believe, because I think picking the Giants to beat the Packers would have been one of the stupidest. The other one would be picking the Steelers to beat Buffalo straight up today. I think that would be a dumb one. Well, I just kind of analyzed this. And again, I'm going with a team I'm not real confident in, but I like a lot of things in this matchup today. First of all, the Saints are not very good. They're 1-3. They have a terrible loss to Carolina on their resume. Carolina's terrible. They're coming off a long trip to London. Most of the time when these teams go to London, they have the next week off. And that's not the case this year. That's a tough trip to go clear over there, especially when you lose. And the way they did lose in a game that shouldn't have been that close. They're probably not going to have Winston today. I don't know if he's officially been ruled out yet, but it's doubtful. Andy Dalton's okay. As a backup, he's okay, and he has some games in him. I don't know that they have their running back either. And I saw somewhere where the guy who led them in rushing in London got signed by Denver on the plane home.
Yeah.
Is that true?
He got signed. He didn't play Thursday night, but he did get signed.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. But anyway, I think that's a lot of stuff, against the Saints. When you go with Seattle, you got to go with Geno Smith. But my gosh, he's playing great. And the Seahawks are one of these teams that are very well coached. No matter what you think of Pete Carroll, he gets them to play. Even last year, they weren't very good. They played hard, and they're going to play hard. I think they're loose and free. I think it's a season where everybody wrote them off. They've won a couple of games. Smith's playing well. Two great receivers in Metcalf and Lockett. The running back, Penny, is running very, very well. I just think 5 points is too much. New Orleans may win, but I think Seattle in the points. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks today.
And Jameis Winston is officially out. Kamara back in, but Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry both out as well. So you're getting
Landry out.
Top two wide receivers, top quarterback. You get another Andy Dalton game. Kamara is back. New Orleans is going to try and shorten this game, keep it as low scoring as possible. It's not great covering 5 points. We're trying to shorten a game and keeping it as low scoring as possible. So This is one of those where Seattle probably has to score sub 10 points for New Orleans to try to cover the 5 point spread here.
I think so. Yeah.
And Geno Smith, you mentioned, been playing phenomenal so far this year. I mean, the absolute revelation there in the Geno Smith world, isn't it, Aaron?
Did they upgrade a quarterback and
I was going to say
over
that.
everybody's eyes? I mean, this is insane how this has worked out.
Don't forget they traded for Drew Lock for him to be the starter.
Yeah. Fair, but would that have been an upgraded quarterback? I can't imagine Drew Lock being worse in Denver right now than Russell Wilson. And that is the craziest comment and something I never thought I would say. But through the first 5 weeks of the season, clearly Seattle's having the better quarterback play. Clearly.
Oh, 100%. I think Geno Smith is right now number 2 or number 3 on PFF and the second highest rated passer on QBR as well. Just wild. I mean, Cooper Rush in top 10 of both of those stats as well, just to tell you how bad the quarterback play has been so far to kick off this year.
Well, Cooper Rush is the best quarterback in Dallas, so that makes sense.
You have had that take for a while here. All right, my best bet. I'm going to go to Miami. My Miami Dolphins here, laying 3.5 plus 100. You can lay the 3 if you want, plus minus 122 as well. Take your pick there. I think Miami is in a great spot here. We last saw them on Thursday night. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals after an emotional and big victory over the Buffalo Bills this previous Sunday, where their defense played 93 snaps in 100-degree heat. Playing 93 snaps in 100-degree heat and coming back in 4 days against the Cincinnati Bengals offense is not a very good situation. On top of that, you lose to a mid-game. Now we have 10 days to prepare. You have this Miami Dolphins defense, which is rested and ready to go. You have first-team snaps for 10 days with Teddy Bridgewater, who, by the way, 24-6 on the road against the spread in his career. 24-6. So he can cover a little bit. This game was going to be 6.5 or 7 with Tua. There's not a 3-point difference between Tua and Teddy Bridgewater when you have both Waddle and Hill, who are both active and healthy, in the game. On top of that, the Miami Dolphins the last 3 weeks have faced Josh Allen, they faced Joe Burrow, and they faced Lamar Jackson. Today, they face Zach Wilson. Significant downgrade in the competition here that Miami is going to be facing. I'm happily laying the 3.5 on the road here. I think Miami wins by 2 scores. I actually have them minus 6.5 for plus money too in the spot. So hopefully Miami can roll, get a nice victory for the Dolphins and keep this thing going. What do you think, Aaron? Is that a winner?
I think I don't know. I'm a little worried about Teddy Two Gloves at quarterback, Somich. That's the big worry. I think the Dolphins are going to play a much, much better game in this one. And I do think they will be able to stop the Jets, keep them off the scoreboard for the most part. It's just going to depend on how much, Miami can score. I think if they get into the 20s, they're going to cover that thing. If they struggle and it's in a game in the mid-teens, then it's anybody's game. I hate the 3.5. I love the 3. So, no, I think the Dolphins win. I think you might sweat this one out for a while.
The Packers just failed on a 4th and 2 from the Giants 7-yard line. 27-20 Giants, minute and 2 left. The Packers have 2 timeouts, so they would get the ball back with around 15 seconds if they were able to keep them getting a first down. The Giants look like they're moving to 4-1 and busting up a lot of people's. I'm talking a lot of people's survivor pick this week because I know this was a very popular one with the health of Daniel Jones, who played phenomenal in this game, by the way.
This is the best game I've seen Daniel Jones play. Now, that's not saying much, but he played phenomenal in this game. You're right.
Yeah, you got to give him some credit here, especially with Saquon going out midway through this game. Down 20-10 going into the second half, and Green Bay does not score. In the
How about
half.
the NFC East? I mean,
Right?
okay, if Philly wins today, they're the only undefeated team.
Yeah.
And if Dallas beats the Rams, look at the NFC East. It's crazy, isn't it?
Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, Aaron, let's wrap this show up here. Give us your best bet. We're heading to Backwood here, the 6th race, the stakes race. Who you like?
Very interesting. The Giants are taking knees, even though they could have to punt the ball back. That's weird. All right, yeah. Listen, I'm going to do a little bit of philosophy change of how I view this show because I've really screwed up myself, our totals, and the viewers by passing on horses that I'm not sure what their odds are going to be. So I've kind of come up with a new kind of strategy. I'm not going to give you a golden palette 1 to 5 or nest at 1 to 9. But if I'm debating on whether a horse is going to be even money, 4 to 5, 3 to 5, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you because I liked Warlike Goddess a lot yesterday. And you tell me what would have been better. Michigan minus 22.5 or Warlike Goddess at 4 to 5, right?
Well, one of them won.
Exactly.
And the other one lost.
And if I like Warlike Goddess like 3 times more than I like the Michigan bet, I should give it out. And if she goes to 3 to 5, I'm not going to sweat it because I'm giving out a horse that I really like. Now, all that being said, doesn't really come into play today. We're going to get a price on the horse we want here. I'm going to go to Belmont at the Big A, race 6 on the card. It's a good race. It's a grade 3 futurity stakes. A good field here of 7. One horse did scratch the 6, but I'm going to go with the number 3 Inflation Nation, 3-1 on the morning line. I've loved this horse in both starts. Debuted at Saratoga was 7-1. Ran into a Chad Brown horse. It's pretty darn good, named Appraise. Battled this horse down the stretch, lost by a head. In both horses, I thought they're going to be good going forward. Next time out, faced a pretty solid maiden special weight field at Saratoga. Again, going 5.5 furlongs. Closed down the stretch. Gets the job done. Kind of oddly enough, the second place runner in that race is Mo Saturdays, a horse that was pretty hyped and I think is going to be pretty decent. That was a debut race for Mo Saturdays. That horse is at Keeneland on the dirt today in a maiden special weight. So keep an eye for Mo Saturdays today at Keeneland. But end of the day, number 3 Inflation Nation, I thought has 2 really strong races in a row. I see a lot of pace in here. And I think the Christophe Clement runner, Inflation Nation, mows them down late and gets the job done.
This is a tough race. I was surprised when you picked this one because there's quite a few horses or quite a few directions you can go here. I agree that first race from Inflation Nation, phenomenal. Clement Ortiz team up 26% with 27 starts the last 2 years. So you got to like that. I like the shot here. I think it's a good shot to take. And I think you're going to get close to that 3-1 price. Who are you most afraid of in this spot?
Well, I think the 7 is pretty scary to me. The 7, if I get beat by the 7, I'm not going to be surprised at all. Gaslight Dancer is the other very logical horse in this race to me. Debuted at Churchill Downs on the dirt and ran awful. Went to Kentucky Downs, first time on the turf, and dominated a maiden special weight by 5. I'm just kind of saying, well, let's see if that Kentucky Downs form holds now to Belmont at the Big A. That's kind of the thing. And I think Inflation Nation, having turf races over regular turf courses, I just kind of, leaned on him a little bit more. But I am a little bit worried about the 7.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The 7 was the one concern for me as well. The 2 is the favorite. I was surprised when I saw that morning line favoritism because I don't think that's where the favoritism ends up.
Did you use the 2 even? I don't like the 2 at all in this spot. No,
Nope.
I was shocked. And David Argona is a great morning line maker. But I was shocked that this horse was 5 to 2.
Yeah, I don't think that the 2 makes the lead. I didn't really love the first race. I realized that there are multiple next out winners from that first race, but I don't think the price is right. I'm just not interested in the 2 at all. I'd rather take the 3 and the 7. If I was going to take a shot, I'd take the 1 at a price. I don't even, I think there's a lot of different directions you can go here.
The one makes a little more sense to me than the two, even. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. That's an odd morning line favorite. I think you're right. I think my horse will be favored, but I think it'll be a lukewarm favoritism.
All right, Papa Dude, it's an NFL Sunday. We only talked about a couple games here. Any other NFL games you want to talk about before we sign off?
Well, I almost took the under on the Texans and the Jaguars today because I don't think Houston's going to score very much. But no, I don't have the college disaster out of my system yet. So it takes me a day to unwind from the college before I really get into the pro thing. So
I think it's a little interesting to keep an eye on this Niners-Carolina game. If the Niners get out early at all, that's an in-game that I like the Niners quite a bit because that Carolina offense is going to be tough. It's whether or not the Niners are going to be able to show up traveling across the country. You can also get Matt Rule plus 150 or plus 200 at certain books overseas. I think Bovada is at plus 150 for first coach fired. He faces San Francisco today, 7-point dog. They go on the road to face the Rams next week, and then they come back home to face Tampa Bay the week after.
Yeah.
It's not getting any easier for him. And if he loses all three of those games by double digits, which I think is reasonably likely, he will be the first coach fired. Nathaniel Hackett really giving him a run for his money after that Thursday night effort. But you have to think, since he was a first-year coach, he's not going to get canned 6 games in.
Atlanta can play that game closer against Tampa today?
It's tough because, like, Tampa's defense, Atlanta was able to exploit the Browns' inability to stop the run. And Mariota threw like 14 passes in that game for 70-some-odd yards, something crazy like that. So the idea that they're going to be able to do the same thing without Cordell Patterson really has me worried. Yeah. But I can't lay 10 either with Tampa right now with how their offense has looked, and that offensive line's not fully healthy yet. They don't have all their weapons back. So to me, that's one of those where I'd rather lean toward the under or take specifically the Atlanta team total under if you wanted to play the game because I don't see Atlanta being able to put up a ton of points. But I'm worried that might be like, call it 14-10, something like that. And that doesn't cover the 10-point spread, but it's not a team I want to fire on today.
And another one, Phillies 5.5. The last time I looked to get at Arizona, we keep waiting for the bubble to bust. Is this the time? Arizona can't win at home. That's the problem.
And when you think about the comps to this Arizona would be the Chiefs and the Rams, who both easily moved the ball against them to the Philly offense. And then the two games that they won were against really bad teams. So it's one of those spots where I don't know what to do with that one either.
Yeah.
The Dallas LA Rams game jumped out at me too, Aaron. Dallas has a top 3 pass rush. The Rams offensive line is decimated.
Absolutely.
They're going to struggle putting up points. They're given 5 in a game that, by the way, is going to be a home game for Dallas in LA.
No,
Dallas fans there.
Super rush is awesome. So there you go. I think Dallas will win that game.
So the Giants took a safety.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers is going to have a Hail Mary with 6 seconds left.
Yep.
From the Giants 40, just in case. Like, this is just.
What are you?
You're probably got the best Hail Mary record currently in the NFL of any quarterback, right?
Yep. They showed a replay of him beating the Giants with the Hail Mary earlier in his career.
Okay, hold on. What? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why would you take the safety?
Ball with what? 10 seconds? 12?
It would have been 15 when they punted. They took 3 seconds off the clock, ran out of the back of the end zone. Now there's 7 seconds. So their fear was getting the punt blocked. That's why they did it.
Yeah. By the way, I had a dream the Panthers won 16-6 today. So take that for what it's worth.
I bet you can get a good number on that exact score.
So I might go bet $1 on that.
Hello, I see you on here, and I know you want to talk OU. Tune in tomorrow night if you can.
Oh, yes. There you go.
All right. Let's review the best bets here. Call it a week. We've got Papa Dude taking Seattle +5. Aaron, Belmont at Aqueduct going race 6, number 3, 3-1. I'm taking Miami -3.5, the +100. Weekly record atrocious, 2-12 after back-to-back brutal days. Year to date, we're still up $1,504 off $100 base bets. Hopefully, we can get some of it back today. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday with more best bets around the horse racing and sports world.